Hello everyone, this is Sheba Joy. Welcome to my channel Zion Shekinah Official. I know it's been a very long time, only because a lot of things were happening here. Nevertheless, to say that, even though these things I should not, um, put off um, my messages um, and the word of God, like being delivered and all that. It's no matter what, I shouldn't have done that, um, and I'm kind of like feel very guilty about that, you know. So anyway, problems come, troubles come, and I'm just so inspired by seeing pastors and evangelists and who relentlessly work around the schedule, around their around the clock, to talk about Jesus, to give messages and all that, and not to say that they don't have troubles, and they definitely do. They have a lot of more responsibilities and things and like that, but they don't put off delivering God's message. So they're my biggest inspiration, and I think I shouldn't do that. Also, I was kind of like not feeling well. I had this uh, sunstroke, and it was thank God it was not like severe. It was just mild, but I was down with vomitings and motions and all that stuff. Anyway, God healed me because He's Jehovah Rapha, right? So today we're going to talk about on time God, right? And there's also a song, which says on time God. So, and the reason He's an on time God. Sometimes, and this analogy is actually used with people who at workplace or in schools and all that, by when students do some task, the teacher says, oh, you're very good, you're on time, right? And then if there's a board meeting and the people are like not coming after the managers or the directors or anyone like that, they just, and then they come on time, then the manager or the director would say, oh, very good, very pleased to see that you're on time, so they get very happy when they see people and things happening on time. So so it's a positive thing, right? On time, it's a positive thing. And our God having to control all the time in the world, because time is in His hands, right? 1,000 days is like a day. One day is like 1,000 days, and 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like one day for Him. So time is in His hands, right? How do we know? Because everything He truncated at the beginning of the world, at the beginning of creation, He created everything in 6 days, right? Even man also, He created man in His own image on the 6 days. So everything was created in 6 days. So there was time, right? And so he's a timed God. He's a God that who operates in time, right? So sometimes also we might feel, oh, He's not doing things that we want Him to do. Time is running out, time is passing by, years are passing, months are passing. We're not seeing some results, that we would like to see. What is this, God? We might get a little frustrated and all that. But I want to encourage you all and encourage myself also that our God is an on time God. Even if we feel anything like that, it's okay, because it is in our flesh that we're feeling that way. But He knows the best, and He does do things on time. He's never late or he's never early. He does everything on time. And this timing may seem little up and down for us, may seem little distorted for us, may seem little weird and abrupt for us, but it's not the case. Why? Because when he created us, he knows the beginning and the end. Why? He's called Alpha and the Omega. So that's why we need to trust in him, because he's an on time God. He doesn't come fast forward thinking that, oh, for example, she was feeling like that, she wants some things to be done now, so I need to like fast forward some things and then go ahead. No, he doesn't do that. Or he doesn't feel, oh, she's kind of laid back, so I'll also I'll go slow at my pace. I'll go when she wants me to, and I'll finish the things and all that. So he doesn't feel like that. He doesn't think like that. But he comes on time to see what I need, see what I think I should, have. So so that's why we call him an on-time God. Now the other examples are very vivid. Very clear examples are also at the time of King David. He was not yet king, right? He was a shepherd boy, and he volunteers to kill Goliath. At that time, actually, you guys should watch this, The House of David on Prime. It's such a beautiful story, but like David, till he kills Goliath, they made those series, and everything about him is like so clear, so vast. You won't find this in the Bible, because naturally, right, if everything about Jesus and every character in the Bible had to be written, there won't be enough for the books of the world. There won't be enough books in the world to write, it says, right? So that's why they have like cut down, like I think lots and lots and lots of things, but the scholars, who have read different versions and different books and analyzed everything, and then also they could do the findings, and then they also read those findings and all that. They come up with stories, and they come up with factual information, and then when they present it in the form of movies or episodes and all that, it's really good to watch. Why? Because we'll get the entirety of who David is, or what David went through in his life. So it's a very, very beautiful episode that they have done in like series and all that. It's found on Prime, called The House of David. You guys should watch that, because it's really good. We'll understand each character so intricately sorry, and then each character so deeply also, their ups and downs, their pros and cons, their way of living, with their families and their lives with God, and how they battled emotions, how they battle like real things, in the families, outside the family. So this is a very beautiful, you guys should watch this. It's really good. So here David, he goes, he first pleads with, and how Saul also, see, in that they have shown that Saul was not just a little bit perturbed or disturbed because the evil spirit entered him, and then he was not, he was not just like that. He had hallucinations, he had like real mental problems, and he was not able to function as a king. And in this show, they have shown that Saul was totally tormented every day, every day, because the spirit of the Lord goes away from him. Why? Because at that time he brings Agag, right? He brings that king and he keeps him with his tent. Finally Samuel comes and he slays him. So, and that fellow is a witchcraft fellow. He's into a lot of divination. So you'll see all that in the movie, why Saul gets tormented like that. Because when Agag kills, he puts a curse, and curses are real, right? And who does these curses? It's from the pits of hell, it's from Satan. So Agag puts those curses on Saul, and because Saul was not in the Lord completely, he misses out this he misses out the favor of God, and then the spirit of Satan spirit enters him, a foul spirit, and then he gets very disturbed. So why? So it was not just Saul being a little disturbed, that says in the Bible and all. It's not that. He actually goes really mad. He actually goes very tormented day in and day and night. And his wife actually seeks mediums also, Saul's wife. So there's a lot to it about why he feels. But anyway, David, when he goes to kill Goliath, it was a very timed thing. And in the Bible it says on the first stone when he hits, when he throws at Goliath, he dies. That's true. It's there also like that in the show. But Goliath doesn't keep quiet, If you see the show, if you see that episodes and all that, Goliath literally tries to kill David with his spears, and he throws like couple of them on David. Because why would he keep quiet, right? First of all, he's in a very big rage. He's very irritated. He's very angry, thinking, he thought that there will be a soldier coming from Hebrew side, from Israelite side. But when go to see, there's a little boy who comes, to fight Goliath. So that his ego gets hurt. So he keeps like throwing many spears, many daggers at him. Finally, one spear hits David to the side, And I was able to relate that to the side of where Jesus also got hit they pierced the spear on his side, right? So that's exactly where David also gets, and he falls down to the ground. And then Samuel comes, all that is not in the Bible, but Samuel comes and he puts an altar and he says, rise, son of, he says, rise, shepherd boy, So it's very beautiful. You have to watch that. And then he literally gains strength and he says, Lord, my God, help me, he says. And he rises up with that, he also gets a wound because, the spear hits him and all that. He rises up. And at that time, when he spins that stone and he throws at Goliath, it goes straight and hits him. And then he falls face forward. How did that happen? Was it the stone? It was the angel of God that hit Goliath. Otherwise, see, anyone hitting from the front, people usually fall back. They don't fall forward, right? But Goliath does that. So at that moment, if God doesn't step in, Goliath would have crushed David like anything. Goliath would have killed David like anything. But did God allow that? No, he was on time. And in the movie, it's like a very beautiful episode. It's like a big movie. And in the movie, in the episodes, you'll see that even David gets very scared. Naturally, right? He gets very scared of Goliath. As he's approaching him, he gets very scared. And at that time, he doesn't even think that, God would help him. Though he has complete trust in him, though he has complete faith in him, it doesn't seem like that to him. Because when he sees the size of Goliath, he gets very scared. But God steps in. And why? Because he's an on-time God. He's an on-time God. So our God is not something that, we can take him for granted and all that. I'm not giving any scriptures. I just wanted to talk because it's been such a long time of not even coming and saying, and I'm really sorry. I feel so guilty about that. But, so today it will be just, more like a commentary or something, a thing like that. But a documentary or something like that. But yes, but facts are facts, right? So that's one thing. So God steps in and he's an on time God. So what happens at that time? Goliath gets killed and David gets the victory. So the whole army was getting very scared to kill Goliath, but David steps in and he kills Goliath. So that's a big victory, right? It's a very, very big victory because the king backed off, the soldiers backed off, the commander in chief backed off, the messengers backed off, the normal people of Israel, they backed off. But only David steps in, being a shepherd boy. So it's a big victory. Now, another example that we want to see that he's an on-time God is at the time of Jonah. Jonah, when he doesn't want to go to Nineveh and the fish eats him, the fish swallows him, for 3 days he's in the belly of the fish. And then on the third day, the fish goes and vomits him, throws him up on the on the seashore in Nineveh. So what happens? And then he repents, and then he goes and tells that city, and the city will be saved. What is that? Was it a coincidence? Was it something that people needed that, or was it something that Jonah to teach a lesson and all that? Whatever that all these analogies or perspectives might be, he is an on-time God, right? He's an on-time God. Let's look at Lot's house. The angel goes, rescues them, and then he brings them out of Sodom and Gomorrah because God said he's going to destroy that place because of the wickedness of the people. Was the place bad? No, it was the people who were really wicked. They were debaucherous, they were committing adultery, they were murdering other people, they were killing. They lived in such a sinful life, and God steps in at that place and he says, I'm going to finish this city, I'm going to finish the people in this city, Sodom and Gomorrah. And what happens? God steps in and he sends his angels, and then the messengers, they burn the city, with sulfur and smoke. Did he delay at that point? If God delayed stepping into that place, the wicked people would have killed Lot and his two daughters also. They would have been very bad to his daughters. They would have maybe killed, raped, anything they would have done because they were that wicked. Because their relationship even with their daughters was not like a daughter-father relationship. Their relationship with the young women were like, it was so sinful that I read somewhere that even fathers had sex with the daughters. So it was like that. It was nothing, there was not even 1 inch left to say that at least in that area they were good. It was not that. So it was so sinful, everything, like they had relationship, they had like sleeping with everyone and anyone, regardless of the husband-wife relationship, regardless of that everything was going on there. And so much sin that because of that they didn't like, so they killed, so they didn't, stealing was there. Every sin that is mentioned in the Bible was there. If God did not go on time, or if he didn't send his angels on time, what would have happened is that these people would have killed Lot. They would have used his daughters and his wife. They would have even killed them. Of course, they would have stolen and looted everything. But if God just did not send his angels on time, all these catastrophes and chaos would have happened. But what did God do? Did he just sit back? No. He went on time. He's an on-time God. At the right time he went. At the right time he sent his angels, and they burned the city like, in seconds, in minutes, this whole city with the people, young and old, children, everyone, adults and everyone were burnt to pieces, were burnt to ashes. So that is our on-time God. It's not just that God steps in when things have to be going good, but he also steps in when things have to go bad for the wicked, right? So that's why when people say, oh, they're doing so much of sin, they have committed adulteries, they've committed, murders and for properties and things like that. But when people hear this, what they say, don't worry, God will step in at the right time to destroy them. Their own works they will be destroyed in. So why do they say that? Because we know that our God is an on-time God. We know that God steps in at the right time. Maybe the timing is not suitable for us. Maybe the timing we say, oh, it's too late. Oh, he should come early. Oh, he should not like this late and all that. But our thinking, our ways are totally different. Doesn't God say, my ways are not your ways and your ways are not my ways? But he will step in. But he will take care of these things on time, So that is one thing. The other thing also, about Mary and Joseph. Mary gets pregnant and Joseph thinks that she has sinned, right? And he tries to leave. If angel did not go to Joseph and tell that Mary is innocent and what she's carrying is from the Holy Spirit, that she's carrying God himself, right? So if the angel did not go on time, the next morning itself, Joseph would have, silently left her or divorced her and all that. But on time the angel went. On time God was there to make Joseph understand that she is innocent, and then she's holy and pure also, right? She's holy and pure, so he cannot doubt her. So immediately, just that overnight, what happens? Joseph changes his decision and accepts Mary as his wife. So that's an on-time thing, right? So like that we see, if we see in the Bible, so many things that God had stepped in and it was on time, right? Because 1 second, 1 day, 1 minute, 1 week, 1 year, if it had happened early or later, things would have been like so. It wouldn't have been well with people who are depending on God for results. It won't have been good for people who are depending on God to show them some certainties in their lives, right? But it's not the case. God never was late and he never will be late, and he was never early for anything, and he never will be early for anything according to human standards, right? But he will be on time, and that on time thing is a great blessing, is a must know and must have thing, that every human being, that all Christians who are depending on Jesus to bring about a change in their lives must know this, and must know that he will come through. He will come through. Like, in Hindi there is भगवान के घर में देर है मगर अंधेर नहीं है. मतलब कि in God's house there might be a little bit of delay, but there is no darkness. But it's not that also. That's not it's not a Christian saying, for us, the delay, for us, God's timing might be portrayed as delayed in our minds, but it's not the case. With him, he never delays anything. He's on time because he's an on-time God. He see everything in this world, like from beginning of the world, beginning of creation. In Genesis, if we see from Genesis 1, from Genesis chapter 1, we see that he has created everything on time, right? The birds and the animals and the human being and aquatic life, terrestrial life, everything he created on time. So he's an on-time God. And also, if you see, like from Genesis, then Exodus, like how people were moving, how Israelites were moving, then Numbers, how they multiplied, then Deuteronomy, So all these Pentateuch books, all the 5 books of the law, how they were gathered, was it by accident, or was it like, oh, this happened early, so let's put this early, this happened a little later, so let's put that, afterward? Was it like that? No. Everything is in sequence because he's an on-time God. And then his coming also on the earth, according to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, was that like a coincidence, or was that something to fit in the Bible, so that people will believe that, okay, fine, we've seen the Old Testament, so now we're seeing the New Testament? It's not that. Because he's an on-time God, he placed everything in the perfect timing for people and us to understand about his timing, right? So let's not forget about that, and let's know that our God's timing is the perfect timing, and he's never late, he's never early, he's on time. He knows, right? He's a God who sees, he's a God who hears, he's a God who speaks, and we worship that kind of God. And we have seen so many miracles in our lives, isn't it? From the time we're born until today and future, we will see his miracles. Because why? He has never failed us, and he will not. Because why? For him, timing is real. And also, see, what does Revelation talk about? Revelation talks about his second coming, right? And also other books of the Bible. So, and how do they talk about? Do they talk that, oh, it's going to happen right now? For example, if was it in Matthew or something, did he say that Jesus is going to come back at the second coming, as soon as, like, I'm done with finishing the nets, and I'm done with teaching the people about Jesus, and also about, like, how do you say this, like, catching the fish, or people, or teaching the people about Jesus, or even doing signs, wonders and miracles, after I'm done that, Jesus. No, he doesn't say that. He says that God is going to come, Jesus is going to come at the end of some signs and wonders they give, right? So what is that? That's the timing again. So Revelation also talks about Jesus coming at a particular time. Of course, the hour and day is not known, it says in the Bible, which is so true, right? Do we know that Jesus is coming at 5 o'clock in the evening or 5 in the morning? We do not know. And do we know that, does it say in the Bible? No. Do we know? So the hour is not known. Do we know that the day, like, is it Monday, is it Tuesday, is it Wednesday, is it Sunday? We do not know the time. We do not know the day also. But we know for sure that he's coming. Why? Because it's given some signs there for us to see and understand. Yeah, there'll be rumors of war. And I'm so happy to say, that I really didn't want this, India and Pakistan to have war. As soon as I heard it, I just prayed and I said, Lord, stop this war. And I'm sure many of you have done that, but I really didn't want them. People were anticipating and they were thinking maybe war will happen and all that, but I didn't want to accept that at all. I just, Lord, not this time, no. Because also, see, there should be some rules to war, right? Just because some other religious people have killed religion, so the Indian Prime Minister wanted to go for war. It's not that they've even thrown missiles or bombs in India. So how stupid of you to go for war for 20 people. So then what about the Manipur people? Thousands of them have been killed. Have you gone for war? No, right? So why? This is just the disturbance of the devil, Satan. And in war, what happens? Even the innocent get killed. So when there is no reason, yes, if there was a reason, like, they threw missiles here, like unlawfully, illegally and all that, yes, getting prepared for war, going for war, it will be the right thing to do, Or they've attacked you at the national level, which is like, broken off your monuments or bombed your monuments or thrown bombs in the places. Yes, that's the right time to go for war. But just because some 20 people were killed, on some religion basis and all that. Indian government is thinking, they are thinking that the Hindus were killed because by some Muslims, in that even Christians were killed. So that he wanted to go for war for that. How fair is that? Then what about the Manipur people? What about the thousands of people that are being killed, Christians who are killed in India every day in the name of religion? Pastors are being killed. What about that? So illegally, unlawfully, if such things happen, I think we must have discernment and to pray, because prayer is important. We must tell our mind to God. We must tell our mind. I prayed. I didn't want that to happen because it was not right. And also they have deferred the allegations like this, the Pakistan government. And I don't think they have done it also in a way, because regardless, why would they do, if they do it in a big way? Why would they do it on 20 people only who've gone for vacation? So a lot of politics are involved in this. Anyway, not going into that. It's important, it's important to understand situations around us and also plead with God. It's not that God is wanting us to, go for anything stupid like that. But anyway, when I prayed, I said, Jesus, let there be no war now. Let there be no war, because I don't think this is the right reason. And there was no war. And I'm so thankful to President Trump, who diffused it, who told these people to cease fires and things like that, giving them like brownie points, giving them also some credits and good things, across the Prime Minister of India and also the Prime Minister of Pakistan. So, he's a Cyrus, they prophesied, right? So thankful to President Trump, really. God put him for such a time like this, like how he put Esther. Also, let's go back to Esther's story. He's an on-time God. Why? Because Vashti at that time had to be moved out from the king's palace for Esther to come in as the wife of Xerxes, right? King Xerxes, so Persian king. And then she comes in and then she takes over, and then at that time what happens? She rescues thousands of Hebrews, thousands of Israelites at that time living in that country because of the exile that happened at the time of Babylon. So it was an on-time thing. If Esther feared, of course she feared, but if she made the fear practical, then she wouldn't have saved her people. So, but it was an on-time God. She prayed, she found strength in God and direction in God, and then there was an on-time answer, and the whole of those Israelites, were saved. So like that, God steps in, folks. It's not that he sees that people should suffer, or he doesn't, or it's not that we have to like plead and cry before him and then he will come and all that. It's not that. Why? Because he's an on-time God. He knows what is best, and what is best he knows, and so he will do it. Why? Because he's a good God. He's a good God. Goodness has come from him. Love has come from him. Grace is his name. Mercy is his name. Love is his name. Goodness is his name. And also justice is his name. Righteousness is his name. Right? So all these things are him. So that's why he's an on-time God. So anyway, just want to talk about that. Our on-time God. So take heart, he will come through. He knows what is best for us, and he will give us what is needed for his glory, because he needs to be exalted in our lives, and so he will come through. and so He will be glorified in our lives. So may the Lord bless this word, and thank you so much for listening.